feel we need to address this before I get going, otherwise what the hell's up here? Little something got taken off, nothing did. I thought I put a bandage on it, and I looked at it and I thought, you know, maybe you should go all Billie Holiday and just put a damn gardenia on it. But then that raises its own set of questions. So I've gone with the ostensibly flesh-colored Band-Aid, and we shall never speak of it again. Before I get started, can everybody see me okay? Can you see me? No. I have to ask, because when you're gay and over 50, very often you're invisible. I mean, luckily it's sort of geographically specific. I'm okay here. In Hollywood, I start to do the slow fade. By the time I cross Fountain, you can read the paper through me. And of course, at Santa Monica and San Vicente, just poof, I'm gone. But I'm here now. So anyway, my man and I had a big anniversary 2 weeks ago, 21 years. You weren't there. Now, the thing is, after 21 years, you realize you've been together a long time, and other people start to ask you, how do you do it? And I say to them, love, respect, trust, these are all noble ideas. But the one thing that will keep you together longer than anything else, I can sum up in one word. And that word is poverty. Sheer, grinding poverty. Because when you can't afford to leave, you stay home and you work on that relationship. So that's what I tell the youngins. Just make sure you never have enough money to be able to second guess yourself. Do we have any young couples out here? By applause, any young couples who are new to this? Okay, take it from me. Sometimes this relationship is going to feel like a hostage situation. That is perfectly normal. Don't panic. So yeah, after 21 years, we've pretty much figured out all the small stuff, like who's going to cook, who's going to clean, who's going to get to be the girl. But the one thing that I still cannot get comfortable with is, what do I call him when I'm not using his name? Because husband would imply that we took advantage of that brief little window of opportunity, which we didn't, and I'll get to that later. Partner would imply that we do lots of things together. And while I will admit that sitting around waiting for each other to die is a mutual activity, that's not what they mean. And of course, lover would just be fraud. So yeah, so I go with my man. I should have thought it through and found somebody I could just refer to as doctor. That would have made it easier. Then I had phrases like, the doctor and I just got back from Europe. As opposed to, my man and I just had the gas turned off. I wish that were a joke. So anyway, Prop A, yeah. Now, I would never want to imply that that was anything more than just a mean-spirited little civic exercise in crypto-fascism, but in my case, a bullet dodge. Because on that day when I woke up and found out I could be legally married, for the first time in my life, it occurred to me, oh God, there are men you live with, and there are men you marry. Now, the men you live with are cute and clever and funny, but the men you marry are, well, employed, and they have credit ratings higher than their age. And as the only employed person in this relationship with a credit rating, I realized that it's possible one day I'm going to have to find a loving, caring, nurturing way of saying, are you fucking kidding me? So, while it was bad for my civil rights, that is one awful conversation we're not going to have for a while. ask ourselves, can we afford this? Because it used to be, if you were born gay in the Midwest, you knew early on, this is not my place. These are not my people. And you got out of there, and you went to the big city, and you reinvented yourself as somebody amazing. And that's how we got Halston, and that's how we got Cole Porter. Now, if you're gay in the Midwest, you can just marry the captain of the football team the day after high school graduation. You can buy a house, you can buy some Asian babies. You can get fat, and somewhere in your mid-40s, when you think I could have done more with my life, you start doing a lot of community theater. I'm telling you, in 20 years, when the whole world looks a whole lot less like Frasier and a whole lot more like Let's Make a Deal, don't scared to warn you. Okay, I've got to tell you about this job I had. I was working out of Cal State LA, and because it's the state and there are students involved, we had to take a sexual harassment seminar. Okay, so the first sign of trouble is that in my head is a little word spelled comment, and every time this man would go, harassment, in my head I heard, harassment, nothing but all those kids, honk honk. Which is so not the energy you're supposed to bring to it. But I found out that if you said something and a student overheard you, they might construe that as harassment. And I said, oh no. No, because I had worked at a job before that in an office full of women in their late 20s and early 30s. Their mouths are vile. And it was up to me to be the voice of reason. And if I should overhear, sailed over the cubicle, a term like, oh, cocksucker, it was up to me to go, ladies, please, you know I'm uncomfortable with that term. As a pejorative. That was a skill hard one, and it took years of field work and finesse, and I will not hear it belittled.